Hi everyone, Agnes here, and I'm going to go through another video about how to collapse space and time, which comes from our wonderful Joseph Murphy. So, first part, how to collapse space and time between you and what you want. And then in part 2, by the end of the video, you'll know how to do this so that you can practice it for whatever desire you are currently struggling to manifest. Okay, now, before I do that, for those of you that know Kamal Ravikant, who is the wonderful author from the book Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It, which I've recommended many times on this channel, Kamal now has a podcast. So for those of you that really love him and love his work and love that book and the many other books that he has written, I will put that information down below for you so that you can go and check it out. And also the interview that I did with Kamal some years ago about that wonderful book, I will put in the description down below, and I will put it next to my head here at the pop-up at the end. So now, this is from the book, The Cosmic Power Within You by Joseph Murphy, and I'm going to read you the little story first, which is short, and then as you listen to this, I ask that you think about what he's explaining here to this guy, the engineer, but relate it back to what you're going through, okay? Think from that perspective. Goes like this. An engineer once told me that he was trying hard for promotion, but that since others in the organization had priority over him in years of service, he supposed he would have to wait perhaps for several years. This engineer also had a pilot's license and flew planes for research purposes from LA to New York and other cities. I asked him how long the flight to New York would take. Oh, he said, by jet, less than 5 hours. He collapsed over 3,000 miles of space into 5 hours or less. The old horse and wagon might have done it in 18 months. Our mathematicians and scientists are pointing out that time and space are one and correlated, and that when we collapse time, we collapse space. I told him frankly that he promoted himself. But first he would have to remove the barricade and stumbling blocks which were there in his own mind, preclusions such as, others are ahead of me, and I'll have to wait. For about 5 minutes, morning and evening, he quieted his mind and imagined his wife saying to him, "Darling, I'm delighted about your promotion and your increase in salary. It's wonderful." He felt her embrace and sensed the reality and naturalness of her voice, her gestures, and her expressed joy. In a few weeks' time, he realized his cherished goal. At the writing of this story, he is working on his ideal project, doing top secret work with an increase in prestige and an enormous increase in salary. So that's the story. Now, it's about some steps, and I'm going to make these as clear as possible. Okay, so when you go to do this for yourself, number one, identify what your desire is. So just write it in a couple of words. It's good to do this exercise on paper. Okay, now the second thing, number two, look at how to collapse space and time. So how long's it been since you've been trying to manifest this so far? And how to think about it differently so that you can apply this. So basically, we're going to use Neville's technique to create a living in the end fulfillment of your desire. Okay? Now, number three, we have to remove the barricades. Okay, the barricades, like this guy had those statements that were handbraking him, work out what your statements or repetitive habitual thoughts you have about it that really create that handbrake, the barricade for you. So write those down. Write down what you say to yourself that prevents you from being able to move forward with your desire. Okay? Then what you do is you go, okay, I've got my negative statements. Now I'm going to create an imaginal scene, which is Neville's living in the end, which is the fulfillment of the desire, like he did with what he saw his wife saying and how he heard her and how he felt her embrace. You've got to create your imaginal scene that implies the end or final result of what you desire. Okay, and then what you do is number four, 5 minutes twice a day. You imagine your scene and you run through it and you let it go. Okay, so really simple. I love this collapsing space and time. I think it's one of the best gems from Joseph Murphy. I think it's really special, and I think it's really simple, and I think it's something that all of you can apply. Doesn't matter what level of LOA or what level of Neville or Joseph or Catherine Ponder or Florence Scovel-Shinn or any of the many others that you're at. This is a nice, simple, tight thing that you can apply to your current situation. Now, let me know down below in the thread what your comments are about what you've identified, where you're at, what barricades you've got to let go of, and your tight little imaginal scene. All right? So, lots of love. Enjoy this because it's really fun. This is a nice, simple one, and it's a nice, fun one to reignite your enthusiasm. All right? Lots of love, everyone, on this very wet and 100-mile wind weekend that we're having here in London. So good time for YouTubing and watching movies and things. So lots of love, and I'll see you as always in the next YouTube.